Hello everyone, hope you're doing well, hope you're looking after yourselves. We were promising this for ages, everything's aligned, we're able to do it, and yes, this is our new podcast, Senseis of Anime. We're going to be diving into talking about anime, but also cosplay, our interest in anime, some anime organizations, just talking about our passion. As I always say, I bring on amazing guest speakers. I've got an amazing guest speaker with me today, but you're very welcome. I don't want to ruin the surprise. I know our audience would love to know more about you, so could you just let us know a bit more about you and what you do?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you for having me. And second of all, so my name is Camilla. Some people may know me as yanderehimesama. That's my Instagram name, which, to be fair, I might rebrand because it gets me some questions, but I'll go more onto that a bit later. And yes, I'm also the community manager of Anime and Chill, which is an anime and gaming community. So we do anime events and lots more.
Cool. Thank you very much for that. And I think we've lined up perfectly, so let's dive into that first. How long has Anime and Chill been around for, and how long have you been in your role as a community manager?
So, Anime and Chill has been around for 3 years, and it just started off as a Discord community, and they would basically meet up on Zoom to do anime watch parties during COVID. So it literally just started off as a community online before it turned into in person. And I wasn't actually part of the community at that time, funnily enough. So I actually attended my first Anime and Chill event last year. So I've been a part of the community just for 1 year, and the community manager role is very new as well. I would say about a month or two.
Oh, wow.
It's very recent. And I definitely haven't been around since the start. I wish I was, but even in the 1 year, I've seen it grow so much. I've seen us go from platform to box park, and even that is a huge achievement, first anime event at box park. I'm excited to see where it goes in the future. And also we had a section at MCM Comic Con.
Yep.
So that's also huge, and that's just within 1 year of me being a part of this. So I would love to see where it goes in the future. Yeah,
no, definitely. I think it's really good that you mentioned that, because being at Comic Con is a pretty big deal. I'm sure, if you're watching this, you probably know what Comic Con is, so I don't need to explain it to you. It's really great to see, and I think even that's where I first heard about Anime and Chill, was because I saw that you guys were going to be at Comic Con, and in addition to that, you had your Comic Con after party, which was really cool as well. You guys do incredible work.
Those are always the best events, I must say.
And I think, like you said, it's nice to have that community of fellow anime enthusiasts or people who love anime games, anime themed games, because it's nice to sort of have people I think anime connects people is basically what I'm getting at. And even at some events that I've been to, one I went over the weekend, I met someone that I hadn't seen for ages, and I was I had no idea that you were interested in anime. So I think that it's really good that to have organisations like Anime and Chill, because they help to connect fellow anime enthusiasts to each other. And it's a big community. Yeah. Let's go on to the next question, which is you as you mentioned, you've got your Instagram page.
Yep. Yes, I do.
Let's start off with the name. Where'd the name come from?
So my Instagram page, basically, I had just my standard Instagram where I had school friends and people that knew me, blah blah blah, and I would basically just post about anime a lot, but I would say about 80% of the people following me didn't actually care about anime. They were like, what's this going on about? Why is she always talking about these cartoon characters? And they didn't really get the same excitement that I did. And I just felt like I need a page for anime and cosplaying where it's just that, because I really just didn't feel like I had that on my personal page. And what happened was I went to my first kind of anime event, and I met all these cool people into anime. Like, I saw their pages, and I was like, right, so now I've met all these people, they've got their cosplay pages, and I feel like my page, like, if you looked at my personal page, you wouldn't even know I was into anime. And I thought, let me just make an anime page really quickly so that I can connect with these people on a deeper level and, you know, just kind of have that, like, yes, I am into anime. And I think after I made it, I basically cosplayed as Gasai Yuno, so, which is a character from Mirai Nikki Future Diaries. And she is a yandere, so she's just like a stereotypical crazy anime girl. I was like, oh, what should I call my Instagram? And because I just cosplayed her, I wanted to call it yanderehime, which means yandere princess. But that was taken, and I was like, yanderehimesama, like, cool, that kind of works. I just wanted something anime-esque, and it kind of stuck. But when I say that I am thinking of rebranding, it's because I feel like it doesn't actually represent me. Like, I feel like I'm more of like a cute princess summer, not a crazy yandere hime summer. And people are just like, oh, like, what's your Instagram name? Like, people, I mean, not a lot of people, but some people are like, oh, like, is this girl crazy or something? And I'm like, I'm actually not. I'm pretty normal. So I don't know, maybe I'll keep it, maybe not. But if you see me rebrand anytime soon, then that's why, because I feel like it doesn't really encompass me, but it does encompass the characters I like to cosplay. I do like to cosplay yandere characters, or just like strong, independent female women that sometimes, you know, they know how to fight, because I don't know how to fight. So, yeah.
Okay, oh, cool. And yeah, I guess it'll be nice to know. So, when you started, because you mentioned that you were interested in anime before you started your actual, like, cosplaying page. So, what got you interested into anime?
So, yeah, just for a bit of context, I started my anime/cosplay page last year. But I started watching anime in 2014, which I think 2014, 2015, which sounds like quite a while ago now, but when I'd started, it felt like, you know, I didn't grow up on anime. I was around 16 at the time. So, like, I hadn't seen your Dragon Ball Z or Naruto, your One Piece. I have seen One Piece now. But, like, I'd gotten into it quite late. And basically a guy that I was seeing at the time asked me if I watch anime, and I was like, oh no, like, anime's for kids, you know, like all that stereotypical stuff that we always hear. And he was like, no, I promise you, like, just watch it. And he told me to watch Attack on Titan. So that was my first anime, Attack on Titan. And, you know, I was kind of like, what is this? But he just really convinced me. He was like, he sent me the link for Kiss Anime. He was like, go to this website, type in Shingeki no Kyojin, make sure you watch it sub. And I didn't know what any of this meant. I just saw this, like, these Japanese words, didn't know, like, what's sub, what's dub. That being said, I'm really happy he told me to watch sub, because I always watch sub now. But yeah, I just put it on, and honestly, the rest is history. I just fell in love. I was like, wow, where has this been my whole life? Like, I've got a really bad attention span when it comes to TV, like, especially movies. I really struggle to, like, if a movie doesn't grip me straight away, I just kind of struggle to sit through it. So the fact that anime is 20-minute episodes, you just get so much in that 20 minutes, and you just keep binge watching. And yeah, like, ever since then, I've seen so many shows.
Oh, cool. But you also got to admit, with anime, the intros and the outros, they can keep you interested as well.
Yeah,
because a good intro, outro music, and I think, like you said, like, with the difference with, like, TV and films compared to, like, anime, is that, like, how, like, even, like, my brother and I were talking about it, that it's funny that sometimes the intro or outro will be, like, completely irrelevant to, like, what's happening in the shows. Like, even, like, there are some animes where it might be the episode, or, like, certain episodes get really dark or heavy, and then, like, you've got, like, some really, like, like, playful thing to end the episode, and you're just like, this is a clear contrast to, like, how the episode went. But yeah, no, I think it's really good. And even, like you were saying, like, for me, Naruto was my first anime.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that, oh gosh, like, I was another person who's late into anime. I think I only started watching, oh gosh, maybe around the same time, maybe 2014, 2015. But yeah, like I remember the summer, my brother was already watching like the original Naruto, and then he was like, "Oh, you got to watch it; it's really good." And I was like, "Sure, why not?" And yeah, we both just like binged that, caught up to it. I think it's impressive. I can't say that I have watched One Piece. The thing is, everyone's gonna come for me, but I think generally it's everyone's telling, and I will watch it. In all honesty, I will watch it. It's just the episode number throws me off a bit. It's the over 1,000 episodes is what is just. It's commitment.
It is, but I feel like you need to commit to some things in life, like, and patience is a virtue, you know.
That's true. But even like, I think for me,
if you can't commit to One Piece, how can you commit to a woman?
That's a $1 million question. That's a $1 million question. But
sorry, that's just a toxic opinion of mine.
No, but I think One Piece as a premise, I really like. Like, I think that. Like I said, I generally, maybe by the next time we do the next episode, I would have caught up. But I think that's true that there are animes that like the premise is really interesting, and like we'll probably get into this a bit later. But like there are animes where the idea is good, the execution is awful, the manga's good, the anime is awful, or like vice versa. So yeah, there's a lot of issues that can come with it. But I think One Piece is one where it delivers on both.
I think fronts. I'm gonna give my 2 cents on One Piece as somebody who, yeah, like I said, late into anime. I didn't grow up on One Piece. I watched One Piece last year in its entirety. Watched it all in 6 months.
Oh wow! Okay.
And yes, I definitely was one of those people. Oh, it's 1,000 episodes. It's so long. And I remember when I got into anime, I was just like, I'm never going to watch One Piece. Like, I'm not going to commit that much time to One Piece. Like, I started off, when I started watching Attack on Titan, that was only 1 season. That was 24 episodes. All the animes I'd seen after that were just short 1 or 2 seasons. I just thought, I don't need to watch One Piece. I thought it's probably just overhyped because it's going on for so long. But then it got to a point where I was like, right, I've seen so many animes. I'm fed up of finishing a show and then not knowing what to watch next, and just having that awful feeling of, oh, I finished a show, and you have that void of trying to fill. I thought it's kind of my routine to watch anime every day, like after work, before I go to sleep. So I thought, I'm going to watch something regardless. I'm tired of people telling me to watch it, and I thought it's something to talk about, right? Let me just try, like the time I spend complaining about not having seen One Piece, let me actually give it a go. And I'm so glad I did, because, I absolutely loved it. So glad I was up to date for Gear 5. And I think the best thing about One Piece, actually, it really is the community. Like, there's so many One Piece fans, and like I've seen so many of my friends have FOMO because they're like, I haven't seen One Piece, but all you guys are having such a good time, and I want to be a part of that. And yeah, I mean, I guess the only criticism I'll have of One Piece is the pacing in the anime. It's not great, but I guess you could expect that for something that has been serialized for so long, and it needs to make sure it doesn't catch up to the manga. It's been going for like over 20 years now, I believe. I think even longer. So I think, yeah, my only complaint about One Piece is the pacing and sometimes the excessive flashbacks. But the way you would avoid that is if you read the manga, obviously the pacing is a lot better. And I guess another thing is time. Like, when I was watching One Piece, it wasn't the main lockdown, but coming out of lockdown, quite a few of those times I had been in self-isolation. I had nothing to do. I could just chuck on 30 episodes per day. Like, it was nothing. So yeah, I do get a lot of people have jobs and things they need to do, but I'm going to say, if you do want to start One Piece, don't worry about the episode number, just do it. Even if it takes you years, it's something, it's there. And if you don't like it, which I highly doubt, at least you can say you tried.
Exactly. But yeah, I think it's really interesting that we sort of spoke about One Piece, because obviously at this time of recording, the live action's coming out soon. And I think it'll be bad if we don't talk about how live action animes usually don't go well. So like, you've got Cowboy Bebop is a prime example. You've got Dragon Ball Z, another example. Death Note, again, I've also mentioned that Netflix seem to be the ones that are doing it, and they're also doing the One Piece one. So if you're a One Piece fan, It looks like the trailers look good, but yeah, I'd love to get your opinion on what you feel about the live action.
Do you know what's so funny about live action? I've actually never watched a live action. As in, like, I've probably seen clips of it, but I've never sat there and watched it from start to finish because I'm like, this just looks rubbish. Like, I think the thing I like about anime is that you can animate absolutely anything. Like, you know, you just can't do certain things in real life. Like, you could probably animate, I don't know, like a bird flying through someone. You can't do that in real. Just so many things. And in a live action, it's just not going to be the same. And usually the casting is bad and the actors are just shitty, which does not help. However, yeah, like you said, the One Piece live action, it looks really good so far. And there's a lot of hype behind it. The only thing I'm worried about is because there's so much hype, I don't know if people are kind of... sorry, what's the word? People have got high expectations. So when you've got high expectations of something, like, sometimes you may be disappointed. I mean, you'll have to see. And another thing I was going to say about live actions, I don't know if you've seen The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. Great anime. But basically, there was a live action for that, and I watched 5 minutes of it, and I was just cracking up because it was so awfully bad. I was like, I can't believe they've actually released this. Like, if you look at the live action, there's a character called Nendo, and he's got a bum chin, and they tried to recreate it in the light. It just looked so bad. Like, the acting was awful. It just looked like a bunch of friends like cosplaying and decided to do this little side project. It didn't look very official. So yeah, this will be the first live action I probably actually watch start to finish. And I hope it doesn't disappoint.
Yeah, no, I think like you said, like even like you were saying about like animating stuff and like trying to animate certain moments in real life. Like I think there was this podcast I was watching that was literally talking about the One Piece one, and they were saying like the amount of money that was spent on each episode is a lot. And even like of all the like One Piece, from what I've seen, like obviously there are things that would be expensive or hard to like do virtual like special effects on if it was like live action. So I think they were even saying there's some things that probably will be adapted or changed, or like certain characters and their sort of like movesets and stuff, because like you said, they just can't, like you'll just pay loads of money for maybe like a 15-second like clip.
I mean, that being said, especially with One Piece, like Luffy literally has rubber arms. I don't know how they're going to be able to stretch it out. I mean, I know that there are special effects and stuff, but I would like to see how much they can recreate, because obviously it's never going to be the same as animation. And even with just being something so compressed, I mean, it's not anime, but even I remember when I was younger, I loved this series of Unfortunate Event books. And then, you know, the movie, it's just not going to be the same, is it? You're not going to be able to get 12 books or 13 books into one movie. Like, you just can't.
No, I definitely agree. And yeah, I think one thing to end, because yeah, this is a big One Piece one, is I know, I don't remember when, but like Samuel L. Jackson was doing an interview and talking about, like, he's a big, if you didn't know, he's an anime fan, but...
I actually didn't.
Yeah, he's a big anime fan. And he was actually talking about One Piece, and he was saying that, like, people, like, the person was like you said, like, oh, anime's childish. The person interviewed was just like, no, like, or like, why would you... Because I think Samuel L. Jackson said, there are certain animes that he feels like are better than anything that Hollywood's ever produced. And he was just, and the person was like, no, like, it's just for children, like, it's all anime. And he was like, no, like, and he said One Piece is a prime example of something that he said, if it was, like, done and it was targeted toward, like, it wasn't done as, like, an anime, and maybe the live action will prove his point, maybe it won't, but he was saying the way that the anime is and the stories that, and the lessons that are learned, he said if that was, like, you know, they made that into like a Western film or something, he said it would have, like, people, if they watched it the way that they do the Hollywood films, it would be that impactful. But yeah, people just... Yeah,
I think the whole anime for children thing, I mean, there are certain animes I definitely don't think they should be letting their children watch. Like, you should definitely not let your children watch that. I mean... I don't know, like Banana Fish, for example, I don't know if you've seen that. I would not let my child watch that. Even something more mainstream, like... Even JJK, I don't know if you should even let your kid watch that. There's a lot of gory things in it. Like, it's just so many. Like, if it's so childish, like, why are they 18? There are so many 18 plus animes. There are so many horror animes. Yeah, I mean, I think anime is becoming more mainstream now, which is a good and a bad thing. I guess it's good because there'll be less people saying anime is childish, but then I guess there's going to be a lot of gimmicks and things like that, which a lot of people hopping on the bandwagon just for the sake of it, but we'll see where it goes.
We will see. Yeah, it was one thing, it was interesting you mentioned about like showing anime to children, because again, there's, like I said, I watched podcast. So there was one that they were talking about anime, and they were just like, what's an anime that you would show your child and be like, this, like, for life, this will teach you the life lessons that you need to learn. So yeah, I wanted to ask you that.
To be fair, like, I know I said that Attack on Titan was my first anime, but technically it was Pokemon, but I didn't know it was anime when I was watching it. It was just on the TV. So I guess Pokemon, like, that is just perfect anime to show a child. As for, I don't know, I feel like whenever I have a kid, I'm going to curate an anime list for them. They need to, yeah. Okay. But in terms of life lessons and stuff, do you know what? I feel like even One Piece. There's a lot of, I mean, there's a bit of violence in it, but I feel like the life lessons learned, which are, you know, like, it's the power of friendship, things like that. I need to think off the top of my head because, what anime would I show my child?
Because I know one of them mentioned, and for the most part, I think like so one of them mentioned Naruto. I think they meant more the original than Shippuden, because they said like Shippuden does also sort of like go off on a tangent at the end. But I think he was saying like you were saying about the idea of friendship and like just the idea of perseverance, and like even if like, I mean, the whole world's against you, or like, you know, you've got a life that's tough, there's like all the lessons you learn from like people like Itachi or Naruto or Sasuke, like all these lessons that you learn, and even like on redemption and stuff, I think they were saying is really impactful. Again, like you said, there are a lot of violent parts to Naruto, or like not too violent, but like there's still stuff that wouldn't necessarily be cool to show a kid. But yeah, it's an interesting question. It's an interesting question.
I'll have to think a bit about that one because my mind is just blanked. All thinking about is like violent animes. I even like looked at we're both wearing Spike's Family shirts, and I thought, like Spike's Family. But then I realised maybe I wouldn't show that to my child because there's literally an assassin mother.
That's true. Yeah, it is tough. Yeah, we'll come if we can think of an answer. We'll come back to it. But
I guess Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon is like a nice, yeah.
But yeah, you spoke about your journey as a cosplayer, and of course, I've got to ask, what's been your favourite character to cosplay as?
This is actually a hard question because I love every character that I cosplay as. Like, not to sound stereotypical.
Do you want to do top three? Top three?
No. I mean, I think there is definitely one clear one, and that has to be Princess Peach, which is not anime, but yeah, that's my favourite character that I've cosplayed as, just because I think it took the most time, it took the most effort, and when I was done, I was just like, wow, like, I actually feel like Princess Peach, and that's a character that I've loved since I was a kid, so it just felt so amazing to be able to bring that to life, and it was such an extra over-the-top cosplay that, like, yeah, I just felt really good wearing it, and I'd say one that I wasn't expecting to cosplay so much was Anisoi from JoJo. So he's from JoJo Stone Ocean. That was my first gender bend cosplay, and I think the reason why I liked cosplaying that character so much is because, you know, JoJo characters, they're very flamboyant. You got the JoJo poses, and I think JoJo's kind of just about like being yourself, not being afraid to be weird and quirky. And I felt like when I was in that cosplay, like I really didn't care what anyone thought of me. I could just do whatever I wanted because I was a JoJo character. Who cares? So I really like that cosplay as well.
Okay, those are both really good ones. And yeah, I think, like you said, like I was gonna even ask, I should have asked this before. So with the characters that you cosplay as, do you design all the every part of the costume?
I wish. I actually wish. No, so I do purchase my costumes. I would love to in the future learn how to make them. I don't know how to sew or anything like that. And I think, if you make your cosplay, it's probably 10 times more rewarding because you've put in the work. Like, even for me, I guess that's another thing with the JoJo makeup. The makeup was hard. There were loads of little lines on my face. So I guess even that, and I felt like I looked so different. I think the best thing about cosplaying is, like, when you're done, you look at the mirror and you're like, wow, like, I don't recognise myself, but in a good way.
Yeah, no, definitely I agree. But yeah, let's talk about favourite animes.
Okay.
What is your favourite anime?
This is also a question I always find so difficult because I've seen so many. But every time I think about what is my favourite anime, like, everyone's going to debate about this, right? And I'm not saying, it's the best anime, but I think it's something that has a bit of sentimental value to me. And I'm going to say Hunter x Hunter.
Okay.
Yes, I do pronounce the X. Sorry, don't hate me. But yeah, I'm going to say Hunter x Hunter because it's one of the very few animes that I've watched twice.
Oh, wow.
I don't like to rewatch. I mean, I need to go back and rewatch loads of animes, but I usually don't rewatch them twice because I've always got new things I want to watch. But it was probably one of the first longer ones that I'd watched. Like, I watched it quite early on in my journey. And I remember even that, when I started watching, I was like, oh God, like 150 episodes. That's a lot, which obviously is funny now. I've watched One Piece, but at the time, all the animes I was watching were like 24 episodes. And I was like, it's a bit long. But when I watched it, I just fell in love with the characters. I fell in love with the plot. Like, I just remember I properly loved that anime. And and then I went back to rewatch it again. I actually went back to rewatch the original. I just thought, let me see how it compares to the 2011 version. I thought I'll just watch a few episodes. I ended up watching the whole thing, and I was like, I think the thing with Hunter x Hunter is the period of time where I was watching it. I feel like I really needed that escapism. I felt like I was properly immersed in that world. Like, when they went to Greed Island, I felt like I was there. So it sounds really weird, but I just felt really connected to it. Like, there wasn't one moment of the anime that I felt like, oh, this drags, or no, like, Hunter x Hunter, it holds a special place in my heart.
Oh, that's really cool. I think that's really good. I think especially, like, sometimes it'll be more, like you said, not necessarily like what you're being shown, but like what's happening around
the
it.
feelings that it conjures within you.
Yeah, because like I said, for me, I'm the worst at picking like my favorite one. But I think like Naruto is definitely up there because that was, like you said, I watched Pokemon before and like stuff like that. But for me, Naruto was the first one that me and my brother watched together and like connected. Like we both connected well to it. We both really enjoyed it. And like even to today, when we watch like different animes, we always find it funny because when we're watching it together and like, you know, something epic happens, something cool, like we're both getting really hyped. So for me, I'd probably say like Naruto. You could ask me tomorrow and might say something else. But yeah, Naruto definitely the storyline, the idea of like you know, continually fighting for your friends. Like even like each of the I mean, there are some characters that didn't really get fleshed out, and then with Boruto, it's sort of but yeah, I think it is really good as an anime of like things that you can like. There's a lot of life lessons you can learn from it, basically.
I think whenever people ask me what's your favorite anime, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, so have you not seen One Piece? Why is it not One Piece?" And I'm like, I can have seen One Piece and it not be my favourite anime. And I feel like, you know, One Piece is a great anime. It's going to be a lot of people's favourites. But I think the thing with One Piece is I didn't experience it over years the way some people did. Like some of my friends, you know, they've been watching it for the past 10 years. When you've been on the journey with an anime like that, it's so different. Whereas, you know, I kind of binge watched it in 6 months. And whilst I was watching it, I did feel, like some parts are a bit dragged out. And I did feel that, like, so I don't think I'm ever going to have, like, I love One Piece, but I'm never going to have that same connection to put it at my top the way some other people do. Whereas, like I said, with Hunter x Hunter, I'd seen it quite early on in my anime journey. And, like, another random anime that I just feel connected to is No Game, No Life, which is, you know, a really short 1-season anime, but it was one of the first ones that I'd watched, and again, it just had that immersive world where when I was watching it, I just thought, wow, like, I wish I was there in this anime world. Like, it just, I feel like at one point, anime, it was a bit of an escapism thing for me, which isn't a bad thing to admit, I guess, but like, you know, I like to watch it to distract myself from life, and I think I definitely don't use it as such now. I kind of just watch it to enjoy it, but at one point, like, you know, I really just felt connected to what I was watching on the screen, and yeah, I guess it is the story behind some animes as well. Actually, I'm going to mention just one more, and that is Nana.
Okay.
Nana is definitely one of my favourites, and I'm probably going to have to give that a rewatch as well. The reason that is my favourite is because people will make fun of Nana girls, but I really did relate to that anime. Like, when I watched it, I was just like, wow, this is exactly what I'm going through in my life right now. So I guess, I don't really know, I guess you call it a bit of slice of life. I don't know if we can call it that. But the life issues they were facing in that show, I just really felt connected to it. And I feel like that's why so many girls feel connected to it, because there's issues about love and friendship and, you know, trying to make big life decisions. And a lot of people can relate to that. So I guess that one, it wasn't even the other ones I mentioned, Hunter x Hunter, No Game No Life. They're literally based in like complete different worlds. But this is based in the real world. And yeah, it just made me, I don't know, I just connected so much.
Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, we've been talking about anime for some time.
Yeah.
And we haven't even, we're at the last question. And that's basically, someone's looking to get into anime. They're just like, you know, like we said, there's loads of anime out there. What's one? Let's do three. Three anime that you would say, if you wanted to know or you wanted to experience anime, these are the three that I think would really get you into anime.
You know what's interesting about this question is, if there's someone new into anime, which by the way, I'm always trying to recruit people. I'm like, you haven't seen anime? You need to watch it right now. Always like, yes, watch it. I think it actually really depends on what they're into. I'll ask them, what kind of shows do you usually watch on Netflix? Because I feel like with me, when it comes to anime, I'm really not that picky. Like, I've liked majority of shows that I've watched. There are some people who, they really just, they're quite picky with shows in general, and they just proper inspect everything. Like, oh, I didn't like that part of the plot, and that part was bad. But so I'll ask them, what do you watch? Like, if it's going to be crime and horror and mystery, I'm going to recommend like that sort of anime, probably Death Note. I mean, Death Note, I think it's quite good all around. Everyone I've spoken to who doesn't even watch anime that much, I'm like, yeah, Death Note is really good. And if someone likes comedy, I'm going to recommend them Psyche K, Disastrous Life of Psyche K, because that is just such a good comedy. And I'd say all around is Demon Slayer, because I love the animation. You know, I feel like it's a really easy watch. But yeah, I think it's a bit of a controversial question, because like, some people actually don't like Demon Slayer. Like, some people are like, what? For some people, it's a bit too stereotypically anime. Like, I have some friends who would just like, with no interest in that sort of thing. So I think it is really important to actually know the person you're recommending the anime to, what they actually enjoy watching in the first place. Because if you recommend them the wrong thing, they probably will never want to watch anime again. Like, back in the day, I remember people saying, oh yeah, like someone told me to watch One Piece. And it's like, you can't recommend someone 1,000 episode anime if they've never seen anything. You just can't. Like, I think it needs to be something short and sweet. And it needs to be the right one, because you don't want to scare them off. Like, and I love Attack on Titan. Like I said, that got me into anime. But I spoke to someone else who said they'd never seen anime, and someone told them to watch Attack on Titan, and they were like, what the fuck is this? What are these Titan things? So I feel like it's good to bear in mind that some people don't like to watch things like supernatural concepts. I mean, I do, and I think a lot of anime fans do, but some people just, they like slice of life. They like things that are real. If they don't like these sort of imaginary beasts or imaginary worlds or fantasy worlds, they're probably not going to like it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. But yeah, you've got some suggestions there. But yeah, we've come to the end of the episode. Thank you again, Camilla, for coming on It's been great to learn more about
Thank
you
you for
and your
having
anime journey.
me.
No, thank you. We said it at the start, we can say it again. If our audience want to know how to connect with you or connect with Anime Chill, if there's any events that's coming up that you want to shout out or put a plug to, how can people first find out about you and your page, but also about Anime and Chill and some of their events? How could they do that as well?
Yeah, so Anime and Chill UK on Instagram. We also have a Discord, and I'm not sure when this will be released, so I don't want to shout out anything about next events just yet, but link in our bio usually has our next event. And that being said, I think the best thing about Anime and Chill as a community is it's not just the event and then you don't see us again, you don't hear from us. It's not just an offline community, we're very much online. We've got a Discord. We very much, it's not just the events, and my role as community manager is I kind of bridge that gap between the community and Anime and Chill. So what I would like to do is really have more community-based events, more watch parties, more things like that, and yeah, just bringing people together, because when I first attended, I actually didn't know anyone, and now people say, oh Camilla, you know so many people, but I didn't know any of these people. I came to my first event alone. So I think I would love to get some new faces in there that are into anime, just don't know how to make friends. I didn't have any anime friends actually, and I forgot to mention that. Sorry, I know. Yeah, I actually didn't have any anime friends, and that's another reason why I made my page, because I was like, how do I make friends based on anime? And now I'm so grateful for all my nakama. So I think it's a great place to make friends. Even if you're too shy to come to the events, you can speak to people on Discord. Anime and Chill, and also my Instagram is yanderehimesama. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. And thank you to our wonderful audience. If you like this episode, like, comment, subscribe is always appreciated. If you want to make sure you don't miss the next episode, just make sure you click the notification bell. And finally, if you're interested in receiving some perks, then check out our Patreon page, the link is down below. That's it from us here. We'll be back with another episode and some new stuff. There's some new updates on Pick Up the Mic and all the stuff we're doing there. So just keep an eye out, and we'll see you all soon. So take care and bye for now.